Today we're going to go through the social features of BQT Exchange. As you can see now in the exchange, we have the regular exchange functionality, and we're going to go through the static mockup of the additional pages and functionalities that will be offered in BQT Exchange. Starting from the trading page, these options are similar to what we have now. You can also see here the visualization of the different markets that will be offered. The main currencies being BQTX, BTC, Ethereum, Euros, and USDT. After clicking on each of them, you can see the markets provided for each of the base currencies. For the euros, only the BTC euro, Ethereum euro, and BQTX euro is provided. Additional markets can be added, but it seemed logical to offer these three at the very start. There's some updates for the components as compared to what we have right now, since there are more markets that we anticipated. So we replaced that with a kind of a search form with the possibility to select the main pairs. Also, the order form is updated following the updates with the leverage trading. Here you see a full kind of advanced form as a comparison to the top one, which is a quick exchange of Bitcoin to Ethereum. And here we have the options for all of the leveraging, setting the contract prices, margin costs. So we'll go through them. First thing that differs is the balance calculation. The usual available balance is used for the exchange, but when we select leverage starting from 1 to 5 and 25 times, we can see the updated tradable balance. So basically, if we have 5 times the available balance, so we are able to enter the amount up to that much. We've also set the order type as a select as opposed to kind of a separate form, just in order that we have more selectors and it's from the user interface more better for the user to select this in a select list with a button to buy or sell, but the form is a single one, the same form with all of the options provided in it. We've also added the fee currency BQTX as a settlement currency. It can be selected from the main one to BQTX, so the fees will be deducted from that currency. The initial cost is actually calculated from the if it would be the leverage set to none, that would be exactly the same as the order amount. If it is set to a multiplier of the leverage, so then that's the cost as well concerning the leverage. The contract price is set from the funding order book or the kind of contracts for margin lending. We're gonna go through them shortly. The margin used is calculated as well from the amount used in the order, deducted the initial cost or the capital requirement. An estimation of how many contracts will be used from the users. If one contract is not enough to fill the required margin, as well as the cost that is recalculated daily from the margin use, and the liquidation price. Liquidation price is set according to the risk requirements of the platform. In this case, this is 15%. If the price hits this liquidation price, the position will be liquidated by the platform. Once the order is placed, the order will appear in the open positions sidebar, as well as the separate page which lists all of the open positions. The position is then evaluated as well daily in in terms of margin and in terms of the liquidation price. Then now if we go to contracts, and this is the same as clicking the rates. This is a separate market as it is in the exchange, but let's go through the order book and how it differs first. So in this case, we're looking at the Ethereum market. All of the markets are also listed here. So we have the main pairs, the main currencies: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, EOS, Euros, BTG, USDT. BQTX can also be added, but for the sake of right now of the visualization, we didn't add that here yet. The order book is different in the sense that instead of the price that is offered in the regular exchange, we can see the rate of the margin or the funding. So it is sorted by the rate provided by the users as well as the period what is required from the user to be fulfilled. So the matching algorithm is then working in the way that it matches the bid and ask rates if they are the same, and matches the period at which the margin is required. This, going back to the form providing this, we can enter the amount and the rate in the form as well as set the period maximum and minimum. In order for the orders to be matched, the period minimum and maximum has to be overlap in ranges. So meaning one user that wants to bid the funding contract for 2 days and the other that sets the maximum and the minimum at 30 days cannot be matched. They have to be, the minimum and the maximum has to be overlapping. The same as in the exchange, we also have the fee currency set for BQTX or the main currency, in this case Ethereum. Once the order is placed, the active offers or active orders or open orders, if we call them, can be seen in the list with the amount, the rate, the period offered, and waiting for it to be completed. Once the active offer is matched, it is then added to the active contracts box. Here we can see the available balance as it is available for the trading or for providing the funding contract. Also, we can see the balances for active contracts, bids and asks, and depending on that, the average rate of those contracts and the daily interest that the user has to pay or to receive. Since the user can place any number of bid and ask contracts or offers, this can be, depending on the rates, that can be either a positive or a negative balance for the user. So if he uses more contracts for margin trading, then he is actually providing the margin. Notifications for the user if the interest payable sum is upcoming and he's not able to cover that will be presented for the user. The other options for futures contracts, for options contracts and custom derivatives will be depicted later. The first step is the margin contracts, so peer-to-peer contracts that users can lend or borrow at a set rate, is kind of the first step. The next section is the signals section, which is actually quite simple in that sense how it is performing. Each of the kind of entries are provided by the users. They can click on a button and just publish their trade publicly if they choose to do so. There's also a top of the active of the most active users. Each of the entries provide kind of the action, the order type, the market that it was executed, the quantity, price, performance of this trade. If the other user wants to see more details, you can just click view and see all of the kind of execution details for this order. If he's happy with what's being displayed in the execution of the order, he can place the order immediately out of his account. Next to that, as a simple upload for the image or visualization, it is possible for any user to upload kind of the trade view and the information on it. So what kind of indicators he has put in when the trade has been executed, so it's clear what strategy will that be. Adding a new signal could be as a simple form, or it can go from the trading history just by publishing the order. Also filtering by type or by market, selecting the live view, so meaning that when a new kind of signal appears, it is automatically updated in the page, so the user can just sit and wait for a signal that suits him. Next to that, we just have a kind of a global discussion or syndicate or my stream discussion. So depending on if the user wants to see all of the active users, or he wants to see only the ones that are in his syndicate, we'll go through that shortly. Or he just wants to see the ones that he is following, the users that he's following, basically the ones that are most active in that sense. The signals can also be filtered by newest, trending, my streams, or favorites, so these signals can be saved for later viewing of them or coming back to them. Then going to the leaderboard, we have the kind of a list of public profiles of the traders. Each of the trader can actually set his own profile and can set if he wants to be visible publicly or not. And if he wants to publish his levels, his return on investment, depending on how much volume he generates and what is his current balance of the trades and the payment operations, and this is sorted in kind of the highest arrow return on investment, or it can be filtered by languages, by country, or by number of trades he has been doing. Then going to the syndicate section as mentioned, so this is kind of a new idea to bring in more of the social element into actually earning kind of activity bonuses or as a group rather than as a single trader. Similar to what we have in the games, we basically have a list of the active syndicates with the number of members and the places they have in total. The number of places depends on the level and on the cost, the investment that the syndicate has made in terms of BQTX tokens. The treasury or the volume of all of the members combined will be shown in the list as well as the application fee that the group can set for the new users. So if you are a trader and you would like to join a syndicate and enjoy the benefits from the syndicate, the payouts from the syndicate, they can set the application fee, how much it will cost to put into the treasury before the user is accepted. depending on that, the weekly challenges can be set for not for the individual users, but more for the groups. So basically can be split into places, can be set according to the weekly volume or the 24-hour volume, or number of members, or even how much of the treasury they've obtained. There can be different weekly challenges and with prizes given to the treasury of the syndicate itself. So then the syndicate decides how they want to pay out their members and what percentages and what kind of how much they contributed and how they value that. The list can be also split into the sorted by the application fees, by the member, and by the volume, or search by name. If we go to setting up the new syndicate, we would see or visit any kind of a syndicate page, we would see the information about it. We would see the total treasury. So the treasury is actually kind of ultimately controlled by the one who initiated it. So kind of as a separate wallet for that user. The leader can be also selected as a different user. The role can be switched. The other kind of second role or the second level of the syndicate is the officer, who also has the kind of administrative capabilities, paying out the user or promoting regular members to officers. Regular members in this way, they don't have the administrative capability, but they are able to receive payouts from the syndicate, and their trading volume is counted towards the total trading volume of the syndicate. The total balance, how much they have actually deposited in tokens and how much they have actually been paid by the officers, leaders, can be seen for each member publicly, so it wouldn't be any kind of this would go through the platform itself, so it doesn't cause any issues with that someone deposited or someone donated to the treasury but didn't get any payouts or was kicked from the syndicate overall. You can see the treasury balance here also as a kind of a separate wallet address that can be used to donate for the current users or for the new members before they are accepted. The members, the leaderboard, similar to what we had previously, is also shown just for the syndicate itself. So then this can be used as a kind of internal information. How much signals do they provide within their own syndicate? What is the leaderboard in their own syndicate? How then can see the treasury operations and the payouts as well for each of the transactions that has been made for the user. And going for the last section, the other sections are pretty much the same as it is in BQTX.io. The last section concerning the deposits and withdrawals need to be discussed as well. What kind of options we provide for the users to deposit or withdraw as a standard Rust, Euro, SEPA transfers, Bitcoin, Ethereum, BQTX. The top 50 coins that currently in our wallet that does not support but can be implemented. The additional kind of stable coins or that have their that are not Ethereum based, not ERC20 based, and the ERC20 based tokens that can be added to the platform. As you see, the main navigation is also split into sections and reformed and made differently to what we have now, just because of the new pages that are being added. But the main things to notice is that the trading, all of the trading operations and the history is contained within the trading section. The contracts for the margin lending, futures, options, or custom derivatives are contained under the contracts page. Signals provides the information about each and every kind of signal from the user publicly or depending on what the syndicate he is and what kind of users he follows. And the leaderboard as an information page as well, kind of for what users are the most kind of has the most return on investment and what is their kind of public profiles can be seen. Syndicates provides kind of a group view and profiles for each of those can create, can manage the syndicates. Launchpad, similar to what it is right now, provides a launchpad and forms for listing the coins and listing the potential new ICOs. The deposit now option, as well as the kind of trader or click on the balance, can immediately take to the balance deposits and withdrawals page with the transaction history of deposits, withdrawals, verification status, the KYC, public profile that is seen in the leaderboard and the syndicates pages, limits and fees used for the trading and contracts for the user itself, the activity of the account, and the API access. So this is quite it. Looking forward for the feedback and detailization of the additional kind of features and functionality. Thanks.